What's going on, everybody? Sean Pierce Johnson here with this week's episode of Stompbox Saturday, and on the stomping block today, we have the Forza by Seymour Duncan, a very, very good addition to their new Stompbox line. This thing is, well, full of force and strength. It is quite the tunable overdrive. If you could describe it in a few words, it's sort of based on your little green friend. I think you guys know what I'm getting at, but with some very good tweaks that make it a little bit more usable than that one. First and foremost, it's not green, so that's a big plus. It's not that puke green. I think that's nice. But the addition of a 3-band EQ makes it supremely tweakable. It can do more than just your standard fare. You have level, drive, bass, middle, and treble. It can do everything from a light crunch to a heavy overdrive. I think before we dial in some sounds, we should figure out exactly what we're working with. So I'm gonna play some chords, we're gonna turn all the knobs and see exactly how far and how low they go. So now that we know what we're working with, let's dial in some sounds. With this setting, I kind of have in mind the idea that you're rolling up to the gig and the only thing you got is a big, loud, clean amplifier. You got a full pedal board, and the Forza just happens to be on there, but none of the pedals really do the whole distortion thing. Well, with the Forza and the amount of gain on tap, you can get pretty close to a nice, mild, crunchy distortion sound. So I've dialed in something that can get us just about there. And we could even put the gain up a little bit more to get a little bit heavier of a rhythm sound. So, with all that gain on tap, we can definitely get through the gig quite comfortably. I really love Michael Schenker's playing, and especially his lead tone with that half-cocked wah. It's an incredibly identifiable sound that tons of people try to copy, but it's not the easiest thing in the world to do. But the Forza makes getting that sound very easy. extra mid-range and a little bit of hair on top, you know, you could go away and have a bite and Yeah, you'll be hearing that one when you come back. That's the cool thing about this EQ, is it's very, very flexible. Scoop out that mid-range, add a bunch of it in, but the frequency that it's set at is a very musical frequency that really helps elicit that musical feedback that I tend to dig a lot. With this setting that I've dialed in right now, I'm kind of going for taking an amplifier that's just crunchy into a more extreme territory and seeing just how far it can get me. Now typically, I like higher gain. I like harder, more aggressive tones, and although I can appreciate a crunchy sound and what you can get out of that, it's not typically the sound that I like to use for my style of music. So I've dialed in something that's very similar to that on my Orange, and I'm going to use this setting on the Forza to get me something that's a little bit more in my comfort zone. Now if I take that setting off, that sounds a little bit more like this. Doesn't sound bad. In fact, I might actually use that as a layer sound in the studio. But if I need to push an amp to a little bit more of an extreme, you can very easily do that with the Forza, thanks to just how flexible that EQ is and the amount of gain that's on tap. And there you have it, everybody. There is your look at the Forza by Seymour Duncan. I gotta say, Seymour Duncan's coming out with a lot of winners, and the Forza is definitely one of them. Of course, you know, it's basically just another take on that modified green overdrive we all know and love, and there are so many versions of it. In fact, it seems like a lot of people these days are doing ones that have 3-band EQs on it. But that certainly opens up a whole new world of possibilities, much more so than if this were just a standard straight up clone of that pedal. So if you're looking for just a little bit of a different take, you know, somebody else's take on that recipe, give the Forza a look. You just might find what you're looking for. And if you need to get one into your collection, look no further than Distortion Brothers Guitar Shop. Give Mickey a call or visit distortionbros.com. Thanks for sending it my way, Mickey. I really appreciate it. And until next time, I'm Sean Pierce Johnson, and I wish you all great tone and happy stomping. Cheers.